Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's start today's story with a woman who thought kicking a guy under a grocery store checkout lane was the best way to get faster service. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Banned from the store, but came back to kick me. It didn't end well. This happened several years ago when I was working as a construction project manager for a company that handled retail POS system installations. We did everything from adding or removing registers in existing stores to installing all the electronics for brand new locations. That particular year, I was on a camping and off-road vacation in a remote area. I had plans to meet some friends, but they called me to tell me they'd be about 6 hours late. Since I had time to kill, I decided to swing by a local grocery store where I'd recently completed an IT remodel. I knew some of the staff and figured I'd say hello. When I got there, I found chaos. Half the front-end registers were down. The store manager recognized me immediately and asked if I could help. I told him I was on vacation but would be happy to assist if my boss approved the overtime. Field techs like me were paid hourly, so OT required authorization. My boss gave the green light, and I got to work. Didn't take long to figure out the problem. The night before, the cleaning contractor had taken it upon themselves to dismantle several registers to make their job easier, something explicitly forbidden in their contract. Their meddling had left 2 lanes completely dead, with damaged power and data cables. I managed to get the other broken registers back online, but told the manager I'd need to make a quick run to True Value and Radio Shack for parts to fix the remaining 2. He agreed and even told me I could park in the vendor-only spot since the parking lot was packed and I'd need tools from my truck. The repairs required dismantling the register cabinets. I fixed the first lane without incident. The second lane was located right in front of the customer service desk. I made sure the closed sign was up and used a 6-wheel cart loaded with a special order to block the register from any would-be customers. Then I got down on the floor lying under the conveyor belt to connect the replacement cables. That's when it happened. Out of nowhere, someone kicked me, hard. Before I could even react, they kicked me again. Instinctively, I lashed out with my steel-toed boot and caught them in the knee. The person, a woman who would later earn the title of Karen, screamed, stumbled backward, and hit her head on the cart she'd moved out of the way, knocking herself out briefly. Here's what had happened. Karen decided my lane should be open for her convenience. She'd moved the cart I'd positioned, tossed the closed sign onto the floor, and, seeing me lying there working, kicked me for ignoring her. What she didn't realize was that a local police officer had been standing at the customer service desk asking if the lifted truck in the vendor spot should be ticketed. The manager was actually pointing him toward me so he could confirm it was mine. They both saw her move the barricade and start kicking me. The officer immediately called for an ambulance for her, then turned to me and asked if I wanted to press charges. I absolutely did. The store also pressed charges because she was already banned from the premises for prior incidents and was violating a no trespass order. Karen was immediately charged with trespassing and misdemeanor assault. When confronted with the fact that a police officer had witnessed the attack and that security cameras had recorded the entire incident, she pled guilty. But she wasn't done yet. My employer's legal department later told me I was being subpoenaed for a deposition because Karen was suing both my company and the grocery store. Her claim that I had broken her kneecap and given her a concussion and that she deserved compensation. That case didn't go far. Just a week later, I was informed the subpoena was canceled. The judge had dismissed the lawsuit with prejudice, citing the police report and security footage as proof that she had initiated the violence. In the end, Karen left the ordeal with a criminal record, no payout, and hopefully a lesson about assaulting people who are just trying to do their job. Kneecapping a Karen. That's amazing. A self-entitled a-hole gets her comeuppance. She got what she deserved. She kicked someone who kicked her back. In her own head, she didn't expect retaliation with these consequences. Serves her right. And our second story. How I beat my boss at his own dress code game. I worked for a popular fast food company. I won't say the name, but it can be recognized by the sound of a single bong in its jingle. Anyway, we're required to wear company brand shirts and must display the company logo on our bodies somewhere. Enter morning shift boss. I almost never see anybody from morning shift as I either work evening or closing, but due to layoffs, we needed a closing manager. He's incredibly nitpicky and hypocritical and only invokes the rules when it's convenient for him. Anyway, my attire that never got any write-ups or talks was a company shirt, company hat, an apron, and jeans. MS Boss walks up to me and talks to me about the dress code and my violations. Apparently, the rim of the shirt was too low, my apron wasn't allowed to have pockets, and the thing that really set him off was my jeans. He said, I can't have them cuffed, and I either have to cut them to size or get new jeans that fit. I tried to explain to him that I have very wide hips and jeans of my waist size are usually meant for big and tall people, and I couldn't find any jeans anywhere that had my leg length. He said, just cut them then. Later that week, he made everyone sign a pamphlet that basically says, I understand the dress code and will follow it or face repercussions. Fortunately, this pamphlet had the company dress code written in the text. Everyone else just signed their name and moved on, but I took the pamphlet into the back office and took the time to read the whole thing. My boss came in and wondered why I wasn't working. I told him my father told me to never sign things without reading the terms first. Just sign it, he replied. I will. I just want to know what I'm signing my soul over for first is all. I'm guessing he thought what I said was funny as he chuckled and walked away. But then I saw it, my saving grace. Only dark blue denim, black jeans, or black pants, solid in color, are approved to wear as your company uniform. Pants and jeans should not touch the ground, have holes, fading, embellishments, or light washes. That's everything the dress code said about jeans. It said nothing that I wasn't allowed to cuff them. And it did say I have to wear a company apron too, which don't have pockets, but it's never said anything I can't wear more than one apron. I proudly signed the pamphlet saying I fully understand the dress code, and I saw that my boss was the first person to sign it too. The next day I came to work with my jeans cuffed, my company apron on, but I wore it backward and my usual apron on it regularly, and I did tuck in my shirt as that was the dress code. A few coworkers wonder why I had two aprons and still cuffed my jeans. I just told them everything I'm wearing is to the letter up to dress code. When my boss finally called me into the office and said I would receive a write-up for insubordination and dress code violation, I told him, nuh-uh, cheeky finger wag, everything I'm wearing is up to code. I thought you knew that. You signed it too. I assumed you took the time to read the terms of the dress code too. He got the pamphlet out and started reading the terms, and I could see him looking at my jeans and back at the pamphlet, then back at me, then my apron, and the paper again. Is there anything that violates the dress code? No, he replied. Well, then a write-up would be unnecessary then for me, but I would like to point out that the dress code specifically prohibits holes in attire, and I think I see a hole right there on your shirt. And also it says pants cannot touch the floor, and your pants is down by your heels, sir. I can see some dirt and a stray piece of lettuce on the rim of your pant leg. He looked and saw, then shimmied his pants higher up to his belly button. You know, if they're too long, you can just cut them. And I promptly left. Felt pretty proud of myself for that. My boss never came to me about dress code after that. Good for you for following the letter of the rules. I could see a sanitary argument, though, against apron pockets and cuffed jeans, though. Just like with the manager's pants that are too long. And our next story. The guy I helped with smokes helped me get my phone back. I work in a small neighborhood market. I've worked there for 3 years. I'm the woman who calls you honey and will cover you if you're short. I've even used tip money to buy a pack of cigarettes or a couple of beers for my favorite regulars if they don't have any money. Needless to say, I'm adored. I sat my phone down on the counter after sending a text and went to help a customer. I got busy, so I forgot about it. This is a year-old Android phone. It isn't worth all that much, but I collect screenshots. I have over 5,000 on this phone, and they mean the world to me. My books, phone numbers, and Reddit account are all recoverable, but my beloved screenshots are not. A little later, I went to grab my phone, and it was gone. I looked everywhere, and my son, who was there with me, looked too. I called the boss's daughter and asked if she would come down and look at the cameras, and she said yes. Freaking out, I went to help a customer at the window. He's a well-known neighborhood dealer, but I'm cool with him because, well, why not? He's a nice enough guy. I've even chatted with him when he rode past my house and I was sitting on my porch. I told him my phone was stolen, and he said, I know exactly who has it. He's trying to sell it for $30. I told him if he could get it back for me, I'd buy him a pack of cigarettes every week for a month. He left, and 10 minutes later, the man I thought might have done it came walking in saying, I found this phone sitting outside. Funny, because my son and my boyfriend were sitting outside, and wouldn't they have seen it? The boss's daughter would not confirm who it was. She called her mom and told her, so the boss lady is going to handle it. But I know enough of the shady people in the neighborhood who I've helped out in the past won't let him get away with it. Also, yes, I know it's completely my fault. My boss is always telling me to hide it under the counter and stop trusting people. It's not your fault for being willing to trust people. But yes, keep it hidden under the counter or in your back pocket from now on. And our last story. Karen thought stealing my water was fine. It started one Saturday morning when I was heading out to mow the lawn. I rounded the side of my house and saw a woman who I recognized as my neighbor Karen crouched by my outdoor faucet attaching a garden hose to it. The hose snaked all the way across her yard into her sprinklers. Excuse me, I said, standing there with my mower. She didn't even flinch. Oh, hey, yeah, my sprinklers have been acting up and my grass is dying, so I just borrowed your water for a bit. Don't worry, it's just water. I blinked. This is my water, Karen. I pay for it. You can't just hook up to my house without asking. It's just water. It's not like I'm stealing electricity or anything. Yeah, no, I said, walking over and turning off the spigot. You're not doing this again. Consider this your warning. She yanked her hose back, muttering something about how I was selfish and rich people are so mean. WTF. I figured that was the end of it. 2 weeks later, I got my water bill, and it was almost double the usual amount. What the hell? I went to check my security footage. I keep a basic camera over my driveway, and sure enough, there was Karen on 3 separate occasions waddling over to my faucet with her hose like she owned the place. That was it. I drove to the hardware store and bought 2 things, a lockable outdoor faucet cover and a better security camera with a nice wide view of the side yard, installed both that afternoon. The next morning, I caught her again, this time on crisp 1080p, walking up with her hose and stopping dead when she saw the lock. She tried to jiggle it off, then looked straight into my new camera and flipped it off before storming away. I printed still shots from the footage along with a screenshot of my bill and walked over to her house. Hey, Karen, I said when she opened the door. She crossed her arms. What? I handed her the bill. That's your share of the last water bill, $500. Pay up. Her jaw dropped. You're crazy. I'm not paying that. Then I'll see you in small claims court, I said, turning to leave. Oh, I'll see you in court, she yelled after me like she thought that was some kind of burn. So I filed. I included my security footage, the timestamps, the bill history, and even a little diagram of how her hose ran from my spigot to her sprinklers. Court day comes, and she's there with this smug look like she's going to talk her way out of it. The judge calls us up. I lay out the evidence. The judge asks her, did you use his water without permission? She actually says, it's just water. I didn't think it was a big deal. The judge leans forward. So that's a yes? Karen stammers, well, yes, but no buts. That's theft of utilities, the judge says matter-of-factly. State law allows the plaintiff to recover triple damages for willful theft plus court costs. Her face went pale. $1,500 plus my filing fees. I smiled and thanked the judge. Karen just sat there like she'd been slapped. She paid eventually. Since then, she stopped running her sprinklers entirely. Instead, I've seen her out in her yard with a couple of 5-gallon buckets, filling them from her kitchen sink and trudging them outside to dump on her grass. And yes, every time I see her doing it, I make a point of standing on my porch, waving cheerfully as she hauls water like she's living in 1820. You did the 4 things that win these neighbor disputes every time. Secured the resource, documented the theft, gave a clear warning, and took it to small claims court with receipts. It's just water. It's the same logic as it's just gas from your car, still theft. And your judge said the quiet part out loud. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.